Okay, well, welcome. We are here at Barnabas Landing on Keats Island. We've been here for a writer's retreat with the Porter's Gate, and I'm joined by Sanctuary Ambassador John Swinton, Mr. Isaac Wardell from the Porter's Gate, and Sanctuary Ambassador Hilary McBride. And we're here to explore creativity and music and why this is all important for faith and mental health. So why do you think the arts and creativity are important for us when we're talking about faith and mental health? What do you think?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind for me is how much of our experience of mental health lives in this kind of before language place. It lives in the felt and the sensed place. And it's hard for us to get there through our traditional mediums. And there's something about being able to use creativity and expression as a means of accessing what feels known and lived inside of us, but is hard to articulate in other ways. It's almost like we get a direct route to what the felt experience of our inner landscapes can be like in a way that circumnavigates some of the rigidity of other mediums.
Yeah, and just kind of jumping right off of that, I think I found working in a ministry context especially that when people are having lived experiences that are really challenging, what people actually are looking for are like redemptive encounters and transformative encounters. And those encounters take many shapes, but one of the shapes of redemptive encounter, I think, can be through people's experience with music or with visual art or with craftsmanship and creativity of all kinds. And so it seems appropriate to me that as we talk about mental health and healing and flourishing, that one aspect of that conversation is going to be encounters with the arts.
You know, I think it's really interesting how this struck me as a young man, that music is kind of from nothing. You know, these are sound waves, and yet it evokes such a response. It does in me anyway. So to me, it kind of speaks to something else. An artist takes a blank canvas and they create something that evokes a feeling. Yeah. And sometimes for people who maybe their feelings are stifled or maybe they're struggling with some difficult things, there's something that from beyond, from nothing, that evokes something that speaks to something that's deeper than... I mean, that's what... I'm not a musician, but that's what I love about music. It stirs up all kinds of emotions in me and brings them out.
When you sit down to write a song or do whatever it is, it didn't exist a few minutes before, and suddenly it comes into existence. And there's lots of positives in that. But for people who are very often highly stigmatized or written off, to be able to create something, bring something into existence that's unique and that's owned by you, and also for other people to say, this is really good, it's a pretty powerful statement in terms of, you know, who you are and what your value is.
So how have the arts and creativity been important for you in your own mental health journeys or in the journeys of those that you love? Maybe you've got some examples you could share with us.
My story fits nicely into my narrative here. When I think about my own recovery from disordered eating, it felt like I needed the arts as a way of helping me re-inhabit my body, particularly through the playing of music, listening to music and movement, right? Like dance. I found myself accessing my body in a way that helped me do that both with a little bit of safety and pleasure. It was like the arts repaired the fragmentation that existed and was perpetuated in the context around me. So I'm thinking about how so much of what we see is the cause of suffering is fragmentation or disconnection, and yet there is something about the arts that reassociates, especially if we allow it to. It evokes feeling in us. It brings us back into our bodies. It creates space for the things that have been unfelt to be felt again.
I have a slightly different perspective because I can find that when music is my contribution to the art and writing, it can be a very in-turned enterprise. Like, so I could literally spend days on my own, either writing or playing music or recording music or whatever it is, like which is actually very bad for your mental health. And so I get some release from it because I enjoy it. And then sometimes I don't, because I'm so busy trying to get things right that it causes me more stress than it does release. So whilst I'm obviously a great fan of the arts, it can be a space where you just turn in on yourself. So I think there's a shadow side to it that's probably worthwhile noticing for people like me, and maybe people like you guys around the table, I don't know. So there's pluses and minuses.
So what do we think the arts and creativity have to teach us about the character and nature of God?
I'll go first on this one. Tonight we were looking out at the beautiful bay where we are here. And I was noticing, as the sun was going down, the way that there were kind of layers of depths of color kind of being hidden by the layers of fog. And how it kind of looked like a painting. And then I thought, well, why do I think it looks like a painting? Like, a painting looks like this, you know? But thinking through, there's not words for this. This is an experience that I'm having. I can't exactly explain what's happening to me, but I know that something's happening to me. And that it feels to me like the arts are a way that we can have that kind of experience with God. I can't exactly put it into words, but I know that it's happening to me. And it doesn't have those same limitations of having to mean just one thing. That something, a piece of art can mean many things at many different times.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the arts necessarily can tell you anything about God, because I think that's the job of the Holy Spirit. But it can tell you a lot about the ways in which we imagine and experience God. So I think that they can expand our imagination in ways that enable us to grasp aspects of God that we could never grasp if we just simply spoke about God in that way. So that's that general sense of being able to grasp God through the arts is helpful. But I think you need to be careful with that, because I think ultimately God reveals God rather than anything that we do.
That kind of reminds me of what I was thinking, but a little adjacent to that, this idea that there's something surprising about creativity. And as much as I think I know where it's going to go, it goes somewhere else. Or when it's almost like this stream that needs to be followed in a way. It has a consciousness of its own that when I follow it, when I see people follow it, it seems like it takes us somewhere unknown in a way that defies our expectations. And so the nature of the creative process itself reminds me of the way that I have learned to see that God is so much outside of the constrictions, that it's always in the unexpected places, and the process of how it gets there that is outside of what I could have known and expected, that feels somehow related to the character and nature of God.
Yeah.
Nice. Very good. I do have a bonus question, though.
All right.
Because this film is being shown at our Christmas gala, so it's Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
The bonus question is, what's your favourite Christmas record or album?
Gosh, a toss-up for me between the Sufjan Stevens Christmas album
Yeah.
and the Barbra Streisand one. And I say that because my mom loves it, which means it's up full blast as we're making cookies, and it just feels baked in. Just baked right in.
Love it.
Yeah.
I am going to lead off with James Brown's Funky Christmas. James Brown's Funky Christmas is sort of nostalgic, gets into some relationship stuff. It's great for a Christmas party. It's great for when you're making Christmas cookies in the kitchen or something like that. It's not the most spiritual record, although it has some real moments of transcendence in it. But James Brown's Funky Christmas, heavy rotation in the Wardell household at Christmas time.
Okay. Well, I'm all about Little Drummer Boy, David Bowie, and
Okay.
Bing Crosby.
Bing Crosby. Yeah. For me, that is Christmas.
It's the gold standard.
Yeah.
I don't have one.
You don't?
No.
Oh.
No. Christmas is a time for Jesus.
Okay. Said like a true theologian.
Well, my family loved the Mariah Carey Christmas album.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does most of planet Earth, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I guess maybe I do like some.
Okay. Oh, maybe. Well, thank you so much, everyone. That was a great conversation. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.